he had a really engaging speech, a thought-provoking speech. You can't hire another person to do push-ups for you. Yeah? Now I'd like to call upon Skylar. Can we give a round of applause to Skylar? He has a wonderful story to share with you. That day, I really decided that Skylar is going to speak in here, and I visualized the time, and he's here today. Yeah. All the best, Skylar.
Thank you. All right, how's everyone doing? Good. Can you all hear me in the back?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think I need the mic. So my name is Skylar Deem, and I'm a habit and performance coach. And basically, these past 2 years, I just totally got invested into building healthy habits and how that can affect not only your health, but your happiness as well. So I'd like to start today off by sharing a story. And this story is about a man who was fighting for our country. And this man was overseas, and he was in enemy territory. And while he was there, he was captured. Now the enemy took him to their camp, and they wanted to break this man down. They wanted to break him down so he would share all of our country's secrets. Now, instead of torturing him, because torture can lead to some untruthful answers, they decided they would break him down over the long term. And they would do that by depriving him of 3 different things. So first, the enemy took him and they chained him to a wall. And this man was up against this wall, unable to move for the entire day. The second thing they did was they severely deprived him of the nutrients that he needed. They gave him pig slop. They weren't feeding him enough. The food that they were feeding him was stale. And this man slowly started to break. And the final thing that they did was they deprived this man of sleep. Every time he would start to doze off, they would take a bucket of water and they would throw it in his face, and they made sure that he was up at all costs. And being deprived of these 3 things, this man broke. And this man shared enemy secrets. Now, this man was a prisoner who was purposefully put in this position where he was slowly, over time, broken down physically and mentally. But at the same time, when we get busy in our lives, these are the first 3 things that we give up. We give up our exercise, our movement. We give up our nutrition. We don't eat right. And we give up our sleep, because how can you get work done when you're asleep? Now, I'd like to just speak a little bit on each topic, just to give you a little view into how you can improve each area of your life, because these are so super important for your happiness, for your health, for your wealth. I'd like to start off with movement. Now, I'm very careful with using the word movement, because when I say exercise, people start to think of going to the gym. They think of an event. They'll think of going to the gym, going for a run, and unfortunately, even if you're killing it at the gym for an hour a day, if for the rest of the day you go and you sit down at a desk or you lay down on your couch, you're only being 4% more active than the people who do nothing all day. So when we think of movement, we need to think of a lifestyle. We need to think of moving throughout the day. Because when your body moves, it creates something called piezoelectricity, which you don't really need to know, but basically you create energy. Your body's like a generator. And the more that you're moving around, the more that you're getting up throughout the day, the more energetic you're going to be. So for a lot of us, we have desk jobs, we sit down all day, but it's great to just find times during the day to get up, to take a walk to the bathroom, to the water fountain, around the building, get a few jumping jacks in. Just do something to get your body moving. The second thing was nutrition. Now, I could talk for hours and hours and hours about nutrition because it's so in-depth, but for me, the basic thing that I always like to say is eat as whole of foods as possible. Eat the foods that have been grown from the earth. Eat the foods from the animals, if you choose, from animals that have been raised naturally. A lot of cows in our country are fed corn, and I can't remember the last time a cow could shuck a piece of corn. So, eat the foods that have been grown and not messed with by humans, because for the most part, the foods that we eat that have pesticides on them, that have been raised with these different foods that haven't meant to be, and these are the foods that really mess with our gut. And they mess with our stomach, and they mess with our health. They actually can mess with your mental health as well. Just a fun fact, your stomach has bacteria in it, and 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut, and that's your happiness right there. So if your gut's imbalanced, if you don't have the right foods entering, you're going to be a lot more upset in certain situations. And then the final thing is sleep. And when people think about sleep, often we hear, well, you need to sleep more. You need to sleep more. You're not sleeping enough. But the fact of the matter is we need to improve the quality of our sleep. So when we are sleeping, we go into 4 stages of sleep throughout the night. And a lot of us have these habits that are only bringing us really into the first 2. And the 3rd and the 4th is where we're really restoring and repairing. So just some quick habits that you can create to really improve the quality of your sleep. Number 1, you can kind of fix the environment that you sleep in. When you sleep, your body temperature actually drops. And it's good to have your room temperature anywhere from 60 to 68 degrees. And then also make sure that your room is just completely dark. So get blackout curtains, cover up any lights, turn off your night light, and be comfortable being in that darkness. There's a cool study out there that researchers took this man and they put him in a room, and they basically made the room completely dark, except they shone a light the size of a quarter on the back of this man's knee, and it actually really interrupted his sleep quality. So you may not see the light, but if it's touching your body in any way, it's actually affecting your sleep. And then the second thing you can do is avoid your phone or avoid any electronics for about 30 to 90 minutes before bed. And this is for 2 reasons. Number 1, when you're getting all those notifications, you're getting a lot of hits of dopamine and cortisol in your brain, which are these 2 hormones that really mess with your sleep. So even though you may fall asleep right after you use your phone, you're not going into that deep, deep sleep that you need. And then the second reason is your screens emit something called blue light. And blue light suppresses your hormone melatonin, which is that sleep hormone. So if you just put your phone away for 30 minutes, maybe if you're addicted like I used to be, just start with 15, start small, and really put yourself in that position where you can just use that last hour of the day, because it's so important to unwind, to wind down, and to prepare yourself for a good night's sleep. At the end of the day, we can't be perfect in any situation, but we're not prisoners. We're not held by the enemy. We're not being forced to do all these things. And if we really want to live a life where we're happy, where we're healthy, we need to make sure that we prioritize these things. Thank you, Rob.